If you're a busy professional dad that thinks losing 10 pounds means having to starve yourself or even work out, I'm about to show you a simpler way that actually works. This week alone, my client Richard lost 13 pounds in just 7 days without doing any exercise. And today I'm going to show you the exact same method that he used and how you can lose your first 10 pounds fast using the same simple steps. And it's much easier than you think. Hi, I'm Andrew Jacks, founder of Six Pack Dad. I've helped over 500 professional dads worldwide lose weight and reclaim their health without giving up their lives or having to spend hours in the gym. And look, I get it. You're busy. You're leading at work. You're showing up for your family. You're carrying a lot. But here's what I know. When you're not taking care of yourself, you're not just hurting your health, you're actually limiting your ability to lead, to serve, and to be the man that your family needs. And as Christian men, we're called to steward everything that God has given us. That includes our bodies. So if you're ready to lose your first 10 pounds fast and do it in a way that actually sticks for the long term, not just for the short term, this video is for you. Here's the thing that you need to understand. Most dads who come to me, they've tried diets before. They've lost weight and they've put it back on. It could be keto, it could be Weight Watchers, it could be intermittent fasting, or even carnivore. And why? Because they never changed their identity. They've just changed the method. They've stayed the same person, just following a set of rules for a while, and then when life gets busy and stressful or it's just too hard, they just go back to their old ways, and that's what's caused them to be overweight in the first place. So we need to fix that first and foremost. Without talking about food or habits first, we need to be talking about who you're becoming, the person that you want to become. A healthy, lean father, a role model. Not who you are now, who you're wanting to become. Now stick with me because in a few minutes, I'm going to give you the exact food strategy that's helped my client lose 13 pounds in 1 week. But if you skip this part, you're going to struggle to make it stick. First part is you need to set a clear goal. Not just, I want to lose weight. That's too vague. You actually need something more specific, more granular. Something like, I want to lose 10 pounds in the next 4 weeks. So that way I can fit into my clothes comfortably. And that way, I can have more energy to play with my kids. That's a goal. And there's a reason behind it. Because your why is important. Why does it matter to you? Why is it important? What happens that if you don't make that change? What happens if you keep going the way that you're currently going? Are you willing to let that happen? Maybe you're on medication. Maybe your doctor gave you a warning. Maybe you can't keep up with your kids anymore. You get home from work and that you're feeling so exhausted mentally and physically, and you see your kids and they're wanting to play. They're in the backyard, they're in the street, they're in the yard, and they're wanting to play with you, but you just can't get the motivation to get up and do it. And by the time you know it, they've grown up and they don't want to spend time with you anymore. Are you willing to let that happen? That's an example of a why, a very strong why, matter of fact, because if you don't have that strong why and you're faced with a challenge, for example, going for a snack or overeating or having another alcoholic drink, when you're faced with those challenges, if your why is not strong enough, you're not going to be able to encounter that challenge and take it head on and avoid the temptation. Okay? You need to be able to write these whys down so that way you're always remembering it. It's always on the forefront of your mind when you are encountering these challenges and temptations. Now, here's the shift. You need to start making choices like the person that you want to become. As I mentioned, a healthy, lean father, a leader, and a role model. And when you're standing in the kitchen at night and you're thinking about reaching for those chips of chocolate, you ask yourself, what would a healthy version of me do right now? What would a healthy, lean father do right now? And that's going to help change your identity, one choice at a time. This is about becoming someone different. When you do that, the weight starts to come off and it actually stays off because you'll never go back to the old person that you used to be. So think about it now. I want you to write down what's your biggest reason for wanting to lose weight. Think about it. And I want you to drop one of them in the comments so that way I can read it and let you know that I've seen it. Now, before I share the next point, if you're finding value in this and you're a busy dad that needs to lose 20 pounds plus, make sure that you hit that like button and subscribe, because I will be releasing more videos that'll help you achieve that. Let's keep going. Now, let's talk about food portions. This is where most dads mess up. They think they actually need to count every calorie or weigh their food. You don't. You just need to listen to your body. Here's the rule. Only eat until you're 80% full, not 100%, not 110%, not stuffed, not uncomfortable, just satisfied. It will take a bit of time, but your body will tell you when you've had enough. And if you slow down and you pay attention, you will grasp it. Most of us eat too fast, or we're distracted. We just put food in our mouth while we're working or watching TV or scrolling on our phones. And by the time your brain realizes you're full, you've eaten too much. Okay, so slow down, put your fork down between bites, drink water during your meal, before and after as well. Give your body time to catch up, right? I've been doing this for over 20 years. I don't count calories myself. I don't weigh my food. I just eat until I'm satisfied and not stuffed. And I've maintained a lean weight while working long hours, raising 3 kids, and running a global business. Trust me, it works. And we've helped over 500 busy professional dads achieve the same as well. Now, here's the other part. Only eat when you have genuine hunger cues, not boredom, not out of stress, not out of emotion, real physical hunger. If your stomach isn't actually empty, you're eating for the wrong reason. This means that you're eating with purpose to fuel your body and your mind, and not to cope with your day, which isn't eating with purpose. When you shift to eating only when you're truly hungry and stopping at 80%, the weight starts coming off naturally, just like it did for Richard. We have clients following these steps and they're losing typically 4 to 6 pounds in that first week. Sometimes up to 10 pounds, not always, all right? And depending on what weight they come in at. And as I said, Richard lost 13 pounds in this week, and just from following what I'm teaching you right now. So if you can start doing this, I'd love to know how it goes for you. And there's no exercise involved. If you're exercising, great, you'll get even better results. All right, so let's go on to the next point. Let's talk about what you're actually eating, your food choices, and your portions too, because portions matter. So it's not just what's on your plate. And now here's a simple formula. It just needs to be low in fat, low in sugar, moderate in carbs, and high in protein and fiber. And then you can just add volume with non-starchy vegetables. That's how simple it is, guys. You just need to choose foods that fit that model, and that's it. So let's break it down. Lean proteins, for example, chicken breast, turkey, fish, lean beef. You don't need to eliminate fat completely, but most of us eat way too much of it without realizing. So you can have one cut of steak that has a lot more fat compared to a leaner cut of steak, yet you're still enjoying the same type of meat, all right? Things like creamy sauces, fried foods, fatty cuts of meat, they all add up fast. So you need to be able to reduce those in order for you to start shedding fat. Now, with low in sugar, cut back on soft drinks, juices, desserts, and processed snacks, because sugar spikes your blood glucose, which crashes your energy and makes you store fat. And if you're drinking calories, empty calories, that's the first thing to fix. Now, you don't need to cut carbs out completely. We have rice, potatoes, oats, whole grains. They're all fine in reasonable amounts, all right? People think you can't have potatoes or bread. That's not true, okay? So my clients have it and they're getting results. So you can too. Make sure that when we're talking about high in protein and fiber, the protein is the priority with your meals, and make sure that you have fiber as well, particularly with breakfast. It's easy to have, and then that fiber comes through whole meal foods as well as your vegetables. That's going to help with digestion and help keep you satisfied for longer. All right, aim for a palm-sized portion of protein with every meal, and then add that volume with non-starchy vegetables, things that aren't yellow, or like corn and potatoes, and things that aren't orange like pumpkin and sweet potato. So things like broccoli, spinach, cauliflower, peppers, and zucchini, these will fill you up without adding many calories, and you can eat a lot of them and still lose weight because they're very low in calories. Now, I love burgers, I love chocolate, and I love scotch, right? So I'm not asking you to give up the foods that you enjoy. You might enjoy barbecue too. I do. I've got a smoker and I love having smoked meats too. I have movie nights with my kids where we eat chips and lollies and chocolate, but 80 to 90% of the time, I'm following this simple formula. And that's why it works long term. It's not 100% restrictive that you can't stick to. Now, if you're making better choices most of the time, that's the main thing that we want to do. We don't want perfection. We just want to see progress and at the 80 to 90% range of eating and making the right choices consistently. And by the way, if you stick around to the end of this video, I'm going to show you the number one mistake that keeps dads from losing belly fat. And it's something that most people completely overlook. So keep watching till the end. I'll point you to that video, right? Now, here's what I want you to take away from this video. I want you to start with the basics. You set your goal, you know your why, you shift your identity. Then eat until you're 80% full and only eat when you're truly hungry. Choose foods that are low in fat and sugar, moderate in carbs, high in protein and fiber, and fill your plate up with vegetables. They're not complicated strategies. They're not super restrictive, but when you do them consistently, they actually work. That's how my clients are losing 4 to 6 pounds in their first week, some even more. All right. And the best part is this is very simple and sustainable because you're not following some extreme diet that you're going to quit in 2 weeks. You're actually building habits that'll serve you for the rest of your life because your body is a gift. And when you steward it well, you actually show up better for your family, for your work, and for your calling. You'll have more energy, you're going to have more confidence, and you'll have more capacity to lead. It'll lead you to a better life. And that's what this is really about. So what's your biggest takeaway from this video? I'd love to hear it in the comments below. I'll read every single one of them. So if you found this helpful, I want you to watch this next video up here where I break down the number one mistake that keeps dads from losing belly fat. It's something most people completely miss. And if you fix it, it can make all the difference. The link is right here on the screen. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in. I'll see you in the next one.